Phantom. And no, I'm not talking about ghosts, although it is kind of a specter. But the console that never came out, and maybe it never was expected to. I've played one. I played one at E3. I'll talk more about it, but there's others. The Ouya, Gizmondo, Nokia N-Gage. These are the systems that failed. Apple's Pippin. Tonight on the game show, we talk about consoles that didn't make it. What's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on August 5th, 2026. How's it going, Jess?
It is going pretty good. Crazy busy right now. This week, very exciting news. I have officially started writing on a video game.
Yeah!
We're currently working on the demo for, so I've got my first scene assignment. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, just a lot going on. How are you?
That's awesome. I'm doing good. And Jack will be joining us shortly. Mm-hmm. He's going to be extra jaunty this evening. He's currently jaunting from an arcade. So that's about all the use I can get out of that word. But we will be talking to him soon. But no, I'm doing great. It's kind of getting close to the end of summer, so sad about that. I got a little bit of a new lighting set up tonight. I set up an extra light, so to make myself a little bit brighter. We'll see if it matters. But I'm excited for the show tonight. I'm excited for failed consoles. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of these actually bring back some memories for me because I played a lot of these either at E3 or when they eventually released. And the first one I'm going to talk about here in a minute, especially, I found a clip from the show from 2003 about Loose Cannon, who was my roommate, an occasional game show commenter and person, actually registered for the pre-order for that. So a little fun blast from the past there. But if you would like to, comment, please just comment below the YouTube video. That would be fantastic. And go to breakmanx.com and click Discord if you'd like to chat with us through the week. And I do read them all throughout the week. So even if you're not watching us live, go ahead and comment. I will read them. I will comment them. Even on the older shows, whatevs, I will be there to see what you're doing. And if you subscribe during the show, you get a fun little notice. And 8-bit Moss Play, if you end up seeing this, I found out why. If I think your thing is set to private, I think that's why you don't get the thing. So if you set that to public in your settings and unsub and resub, I think you will actually get the fun little thing, because it'll be a fun little jingle. It's pretty fun. So the game show. Welcome to the game show. We've been doing this since 2002. One of the first game podcast ever. We ran for over a decade, took a long break, and came back in 2005 because we couldn't stay away. I'm BreakmanX. Every week, I'm joined by a mix of the original crew and new blood to talk about the games we're playing, the news shaping the industry, and whatever else we cannot shut up about. So, diving in this evening, Jack has a ton of news that we're going to end up talking about. And so we're going to wait until he jaunts on. But I'm also not going to talk about the first one that was on my list because I want to talk about that one with Jack. So I'll go ahead and do one that he might not care about talking about. And that is the NEC PC-FX. So this console, there's another one we're going to talk about later, the SuperGrafx, which, you have the PC Engine, which was enormously successful in Japan. It challenged the Famicom. It beat the Famicom, beat Nintendo, in sales and did extraordinarily well there. Did not do so well in the United States, as Jack's going to talk about later, but did extraordinarily well in Japan. The SuperGrafx was an attempt to make a system that would compete with the more modern systems, but still not quite as advanced as it needed to be. We'll talk about that later. And then the PC-FX was the one that came out in 1994. And this one had the CD drive, and it was supposed to be competitive with the PS1, but it was not. It supposedly did really good 2D, but the problem with the PC-FX was that basically no games were made for it. You had anime FMVs and then visual novels that were made, which, whatevs. And it ended up just being I was mentioning this on the Discord yesterday to Fenris and the folks, but I would love, could you imagine if Hudson and NEC would have been able to last to this gen, and continue to be successful after the PC Engine, or just, successful in America ever. We'd have some pretty cool stuff now, because they always had the quirky, really cool stuff. As you know, I love those particular systems. So, and my cords drive me crazy. But the PC-FX, it's one of those things to look up. It also, I'm not going to say the word because the algorithm will attack us. It rhymes with corn. There are a lot of those type of games on the PC-FX, as well as, it pretty much was clear that it wasn't going to be able to do well in the mainstream. So whatever, just, go nuts. Go nuts with it. Go nuts with it. All right, Jess, take it away.
So I actually didn't really play any of the failed ones, and so I thought maybe I could more kind of ask questions for this one.
That works.
So I'm trying to think. I guess I can also ask him of Jack once he gets here. But my first one is, out of the ones that you've played, were there any that you were like extra disappointed by, like you thought were going to be awesome and then just weren't?
Of the ones on the list, of any of them, the one that I'm probably most disappointed in is probably the NEC SuperGrafx, which, I can go ahead and talk about it because I don't think Jack's going to care about that one. Responding to someone really quick. Nice. Okay. And hello, I'm going to go ahead and check in with the chat. Hey, Max, how's it going? Sketchy Ceviche says, oh, Jess got a time skip look. I'm not completely sure what that means. Jess, do you know what that means?
I don't think so.
Maybe it's the way that the things are positioned. And Fenris says they failed so hard they had to capitalize on the, not going to say the word because of the algorithm. Yo, Crystal Madison, Seb the Sleeper, what up? And Sketchy says, hey, it worked for Enemy VA at the time. And Fenris said, I figured the disappointment would have been the Phantom. The Phantom is very, very close. And I will mention once Jack, I don't want to talk about it until Jack gets here. But I'm going to say the SuperGrafx because I like the PC Engine so much. So why would it be the SuperGrafx? What was the big deal with the SuperGrafx? In 1989, I believe, was when it came out, which was 2 years after the PC Engine itself, and the Genesis was going to be coming out, or the Mega Drive. So they were kind of scared of what Sega was going to be doing with its console that was more powerful, and the upgrade basically is having two VDCs, or video display controllers, instead of one. It would let it do actual parallax scrolling instead of kind of the specialized programming that it would allow it to do on certain games. More sprites on screen without slowdown. More VRAM. It was closer to a real 16-bit system, whereas the PC Engine had 16-bit graphics processing, but an 8-bit CPU. But the problem was that developers never actually really got to build software for it. There were only 5 games released. Aldines, Battle Ace, I can never say this, Daimakaimura, which is the Ghouls and Ghosts. And then 1941 Counterattack and Darius plus Alpha. And these games are mostly not super impressive. The Ghouls and Ghosts port graphically is probably the best one. I still prefer the Genesis one. And then Aldines isn't bad, but the other ones I think are kind of a disappointment. But the developers just never really got to make games for it. So it only had 5 games. It never was able to fully compete. But the reason for me it is the absolute biggest disappointment on the list is because I think it was coming on the heels of such an amazing system. And Fenris says SuperGrafx failure points are only like 5 games for it. The thing has a stiffening post that cracks the board, and it came out way too late for what it offered. Very true. And Sketchy Ceviche says, hey, SuperGrafx has almost as many exclusives as the Phantom. We have a Burton of Jack. We have the Jackist Burton. Okay. So we've talked about the SuperGrafx so far. We just got done with that. Anything you want to say about the SuperGrafx before we jump into the news?
I wouldn't say the SuperGrafx is a failed console. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, honestly, like the TurboGrafx.
Sales-wise.
Sales-wise, I would say the TurboGrafx is the one that failed because that failed in the States. The SuperGrafx did a decent job in Japan, didn't it?
I don't think so.
Oh,
let me look at the sales. You might be right. The PC Engine did amazing in Japan, though.
Yes.
It beat Nintendo for a bit. SuperGrafx sold only 75,000 units across both Japan and the United States. The United States. The 4th gen console market breakdown in Japan puts the SuperGrafx at 0.1% of market share. Whereas the PC Engine, including the United States, had 8.6%. So it was pretty...
Still.
It was pretty poopy. But
okay, I don't have much more to add on the SuperGrafx. Like that's so.
There's not much to add.
Yeah.
I mean, it had 5 games. It had 5 games where we've covered the totality. But it does make me sad that it didn't do well. Okay, Jack, do you want to go ahead and get into our news of the week, and then we're going to talk about a scary ghost.
Yes. So news this week. I think the big news this week, the EA sale to the Saudi Arabia PIF, the Public Investment Fund, and Jared Kushner was finalized yesterday. So
no.
I will spare any of the editorializing, but it does put EA $1.8 billion in debt now. They have talked to some people inside. Exactly. Some people that have talked to Jason Schreier of Bloomberg have said that, actually, some people, when I say some people, I mean executives, have said that they are planning mass layoffs and not saying that explicitly, but they are thinly veiling that as saving over $170 million in operating efficiencies, which means mass layoffs. So now, having gone through some of these myself, I can say that's probably there are some contracts that will be part of that, but $170 million in operating efficiencies does say mass layoffs one way or the other. So, my condolences out to everybody that's at EA. Hopefully this is just a one-time deal and then it's done. But, it's not great for everybody.
No.
For anybody involved.
For anybody. For anybody, except for the people.
Not much more I can say about this. Yeah, it's great for it's good for the Saudis and it's good for Jared Kushner.
Yeah,
and it's not great for anyone else involved. And shareholders do get a decent return if they've had shares in EA from before the sale was announced. But overall, I think this is a terrible deal. And we'll see what happens, but it does not look good for anybody that works at EA and or
plays their games.
The onus is exactly the onus is going to be on EA to prove that they can still make good video games, and I should say they can still make video games after all this is said and done.
Yeah, no, it's a bummer. I mean, EA has they used to have like SSX. They used to have some like really good games, and we had an EA representative on the show years and years ago.
Remember when EA Big was a thing?
EA Big. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but now it's not so much. It's a lot of microtransactions, and a lot of this.
It's micro. You know what I found out? Not found out, but what I remembered. Thanks to an Instagram video earlier this week, I remembered that the Saboteur. Do you remember that game from Pandemic? The makers of Mercenaries and Mercenaries 2.
Yeah.
So that game had paid DLC. Actually, it wasn't paid DLC. It was included as a code with the game. If you bought the game at retail, you got a code that made the dancers in the game a little more topless. Whereas if you did not buy the game at retail, they had tassels. And if you did not buy the game at retail, if you bought it secondhand, you had to pay $5 to $10 to buy that DLC that gave you the ability to remove the tassels from the dancers.
Oh my God. I remember this clearly now because we talked about it like years ago. Yeah. That was a really...
Just I can feel the eyes rolling back in your head.
I don't know if eyes can roll back hard enough. I mean, it's like so lame that it's hard to get there. I don't know.
If there were grounds to be broken by EA, they would find a way to break those ground.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's like it's low. It's pretty low. Oh man. All right. Well, tell us about a leaked document.
Yeah.
That was discovered.
In slightly better news, there is a leaked document that was acquired by The Verge that shows that Microsoft or Xbox is planning on including backwards compatibility for Xbox 360 games on PC and Project Helix. Here's the little caveat is if developers opt in. And I'm guessing this is how they're going to get around some of the licensing issues for games like Rock Band, games like Burnout Paradise, things where like some of the music licensing or vehicle licensing in the case of Forza, things like that, where those may have lapsed. But nonetheless, that is pretty cool. We don't know what Project Helix is going to be right now, but at the same time, just even having that capability for backwards compatibility using discs, hey, in light of all the other Sony news going on, like I think that's a really cool win.
Yeah.
And something that can Xbox can kind of hang their head on, and despite everything else going on in the Microsoft ecosystem right now.
Yeah, no, I love that's honestly probably my favorite thing about them is the commitment to backwards compatibility. I think it's fantastic. You could put an original Xbox game in their current console and it downloads, the emulator and all the patches and everything needed to play it. That's legitimately really cool. And I hope that continues. And the fact that, it's going to be on PC and Project Helix now, that's great. And it opens up, especially Project Helix might be really expensive, but PC, like people already have them. I just really think going forward that with how expensive things in the next couple of years, there's like a wealth of games in all the generations to go back and play. I mean, obviously like the early gens, but the Xbox 360 gen has some amazing games. Some that I need to go back and play.
Geometry Wars, right? Geometry Wars Retro Evolved is one of the best games of that generation. And it was one of the first games of that generation, right?
Yeah.
Like so many incredible games on that system.
Yeah, that was a fantastic. I played that game tons. That was in grad school when I had like 5 minutes to do something and like really needed to relax because I was super stressed out. I could sit down and shoot some triangles,
Yep. I'll be honest with you. The one that I really want that I don't know if we're going to get is Afterburner Climax. I just don't know the rights for whatever reason. Like Sega owns all the rights, but for whatever reasons, Afterburner Climax was released on the 360 and was never really seen from again.
I think it's the music.
What the reasoning behind it? That's what's so surprising.
The particular
they own
arrange
all that music.
I think it's the particular arrangement. I thought I heard that. I could be wrong. I'm sure Fenris knows.
I mean, you're probably right. But
that's what I remember hearing anyway.
Version of Afterburner.
Yeah, no, it is. It's one of the coolest ones. It's all one of the coolest ones. If you're just joining us on the show, it looks like several people just joined this stream. We do broadcast every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central. We start out here with the news. We're going to dive into failed consoles pretty soon, some of which we've actually played, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to play a clip from 2003 directly relating to one of the consoles as well. So Jack's having a lot of fun tonight.
Jess is just like, I'm just here along for the ride.
Jess is going to learn a lot. Yeah, it's going to learn a lot tonight. And Jess and I also play Pokemon every Tuesday, which is a lot of fun. I also basically lost my mind yesterday. So if you want to see someone pretty much lose their mind, because I found an error in Pokemon Crystal, you cannot win that game. I slowed it down. You cannot select the Pikachu. Cannot select it. So don't watch it now because the rest of the show is going to be fabulous. I promise. But
just what did he forget to do?
I mean, it is just a slots game. So you just have to time it right.
I slowed it down to I showed you because I was like, I'm gonna get a cherry, and I got a cherry, and I was gonna get this, and I got this, but it would not let you ever get the one that you're supposed to get. I'm gonna hang my hat on that.
Okay.
All right, but yeah, and if you like what you're seeing, please give us a like and subscribe. Give us a like and subscribe. It helps out more than you know. We cheated a lot.
Oh, okay.
We did a lot of cheating. It was Cheatara land. And there'll be a little jingle to go right on Jack's head tonight, which will be fun. So yeah.
It's fair.
It's fair. So please do that.
Yeah.
But Jack, do you want to head us back to the news?
Yeah, so the next news item, another little bit of a bummer. Word had got out through Video Games Chronicle that 85% of the studio behind FIFA's official World Cup game, which was exclusive to Netflix, the studio's name is Refactor. 85% of the studio has been laid off, according to its founder. This came via Twitter, X, if you will. A real bummer. I don't know if anybody actually played the World Cup game that was on Netflix's app or available through the iOS or Android stores if you were a Netflix member. But it was kind of terrible. But at the same time, I mean, it's still a studio. It's still developers, still people.
Yeah.
And just a really bad scene. And I can only, the only silver lining,
layoffs,
if there is even any kind
layoffs.
if there is even any kind of silver lining to be taken from this, is maybe EA's, or maybe, sorry, not EA, maybe FIFA has realized, maybe we should have actually kept our game with EA because they actually could make a game. But
for now,
maybe I'm being too naive. I don't know. I won't get into it here on this pod. I won't get into it on this podcast. But if you've seen any of the stuff going on with FIFA right now, it's kind of a real, I'm not gonna say that word, but it's a real mess over there. Like
cluster.
It really is.
Cluster, a word you used to say a lot. Mm-hmm. I used to say a lot too. Yeah. All right, hit us up with the last piece of news, and then we'll get on to the scary phantom.
All right, this one's actually pretty good news. So one of the Lego leakers that are out there, BrickTap, has announced that there is a Lego PlayStation 1 set coming out in October. So the original PlayStation design is coming out and will retail for $159.99 in the US. And it will also include a small Astrobot companion set. So Astrobot companion. So I have not gotten the Sega Genesis yet. I've got the NES. I've got the Atari 2600 or VCS, if you will. But a Lego PS1 is very intriguing, and I'm very excited to see how this thing turns out, especially if Sony's got some involvement in it, and they actually put some thought into this thing. So if it looks like the NES or the Genesis, got me in. I'm excited about it.
Yes, that sounds cool. All right, I'm gonna hit up the chat here before we head into the meat of the topic. We've got a lot of people talking going on here. So Seb the Sleeper says the Sega Saturn was released at the wrong time, to be honest. Yes, bad timing. Yeah. Literally no one knew it was going out. I love the Saturn though. But and then Fenris says, I hope this means EA finally dies off. That way I won't have to be visually assaulted with crappy Madden games.
I get the sentiment, I really do, but at the same time, I don't want to see a studio close. Like EA's got so much history involved with it. Yeah, they have so many.
Trip Hawkins.
Like, if you just had some inkling of a human being at the top of that organization, you would actually there's so much they could draw upon. No, I'm being honest.
I know. I just if they just had a human being at EA, they would be fine.
It's like, hey, guess what? We could make another Syndicate game. Hey, guess what? We could make another theme park game. Hey, guess what? We could make another Mass Effect game. And they would be great if we actually put some thought behind it and some actual development work behind it.
For sure. So, but no, that won't happen.
No. Especially not now.
No. Yes. Oh, let me get back to the chats. There were more. I got distracted. I can't do two things at once. I'm talking and reading. No, you're fine. You did exactly what you should do. Sketchy Ceviche says, tassels? Sorry, I was distracted by the tassels. Sketchy. He also says, when EA hits rock bottom. And then Fenris says the only thing that EA will be doing now is AI slop sports games because there won't be anyone left in the office to make games. Sketchy Ceviche says Digital is only for Xbox One and up. I think Helix is supposed to be fully compatible with those. Fenris says, if it's not obvious, I hate EA and everything it stands for. I destroy EA sports styles with a Genesis EA sports style. Hey, that's what they were good. And Fenris says, hey, Break, do you want to play slots again? No. I'm never playing that again.
What about Super Mario 2 slots?
That I will play because that's fair.
All right.
And don't get me wrong, I still love Pokemon Crystal. I'm like having a ball playing it. That particular thing just irritated me. But yeah, if you'd like to write in, please write a comment below. I will read it on air as long as it's, somewhat appropriate. And then if you'd like to chat with us during the week, hit up the Discord. I do also read these during the week when we're not live. All right, the first one we're going to hit up. This one is near and dear to my heart. It's the one that Fenris thought was going to be my biggest disappointment that it didn't end up coming out. But the Phantom from Infinium Labs. Man, I have not said the words Infinium Labs for a long time. But
I still have my shirt in my closet. It is
that's amazing.
I won't say it's in
from
bubble
E3?
wrap, but it is it. Yeah, from E3.
Yeah.
It is somewhere like we were going through a lot of stuff to see what we wanted to give away to charity and some things. And like my wife was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "You cannot give that away. Like this is
amazing.
Like one of 5,000." But like I can't.
I'm sure I have mine. I have a big E3 box that I never ever throw anything away. So it was announced in 2003. It was supposed to be a subscription-based game delivery system streamed over the internet before anyone actually had the bandwidth to do it. Broadband was still not super proliferated yet. Kept getting delayed. The executives ended up getting busted for stock fraud and never shipped a single console. One of the greatest console scams of all time. What's interesting about the Phantom? Okay, I think you played it. I played one at E3 2004.
We both played it.
Yeah. I think I played it with you. It did exist. It was basically a PC inside their fancy shell. And that's basically what it was. It played PC games. Now, the thing that was cool about it, that I will give the Phantom props, okay, is the little lap desk thing that they had for the keyboard and the mouse. That was like
the keyboard that like basically went like this, and then you could use your mouse underneath it.
That was cool. Like I liked it. That was the one thing I liked.
I get it. Like for like an all-in-one kind of thing, sure. Like it was novel, but like the problem was it was what 2004 when we saw that thing.
3. Well, yeah, and 4. It was announced 3.
Yeah. And like you looked at that and was like, oh hey, here's UT 2004, UT 2003, and like that was what they were like. This plays it just fine, and yeah, it did play just fine. The problem was they had no actual demos or anything beyond that. Like, what does the storefront look like? Like Steam had literally just come out the year before. Like Half-Life 2 had just, or no, I think they meant like Half-Life or Steam was out, but Half-Life 2 wasn't even a thing yet. Half-Life 2 came out the year after that, or later that year, because we saw that year also.
Yeah, but go ahead.
But I mean, like they were trying to say in retrospect, it's really interesting because all the things that they were saying they were going to do, they could not pull through on, or follow through on.
No.
But you look at it now, like Valve did exactly what the Phantom was going to do.
Except it wasn't a subscription, but same idea.
It wasn't subscription.
It's better because it's not subscription.
I mean, you think about it now and just think about how ubiquitous Steam is. Like
awesome. I love Steam.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like the one store I really like. Yeah. No, I still do love the little lap desk. But I did want to play. I was looking through the archives and I found from October 4th, 2003, not too long after the announcement, my roommate, an occasional on the show commenter, and was also on a show we did called Game Savers, Loose Cannon, pre-registered it. And I just thought it was fun to play a little clip from, back in the dark ages. I'm going to cue it up here, and you'll also hear a young Jack Burton at the beginning. So without further ado, I'm going to take you back to 2003.
I just think this is extremely stupid, and Loose Cannon wants to say something really quick. I want to make it clear that I signed up for the pre-register for the beta. So, it's not really the beta, it's the pre-register to the register. So,
Did you hear anything back from them, or did the Spectres not reply?
I think it's because they asked me why I wanted to test it and what I thought was good about it, and I'm like, well, you guys really haven't said anything about it at all, so I can't really say anything. So, I don't think they really wanted that.
I would like to say, if you are more interested in the Phantom, I believe that you should go to hardocp.com and check out their wonderful investigative reporting that they've done over there.
And there's Jack giving a shout out to Hard OCP. Which
I miss Hard OCP.
That was like the first thing I thought when I heard that clip was that, man, I miss that website. There's a lot of websites I miss, or at least the versions that existed then. But fantastic. Okay, so that's the Phantom. We played it. If you watch the very opening of the show, there's a couple pictures of us actually at E3 viewing the Phantom. I found them.
I think I'll see. I tell you what, I will go back when I get home later this week. I will go back and find my Phantom shirt that I still have sitting around my closet, and I will take a picture of it.
Social media post.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
social media post. I would challenge anybody outside of like the Video Game History Foundation, Break, and probably Jeff Gerstmann. I bet nobody else has a Phantom shirt still sitting somewhere in their house.
Yep. I'm pretty sure I still have mine because I don't throw anything away ever. And I have my E3 box that whenever I'm able to, going to go through actually.
And
Jess.
And the Video Game History Foundation has just about everything.
Yeah. But not that.
I bet they have that.
Maybe. All right, Jack, give us your first failed.
All right, so my first one is a doozy, and it's a Nintendo console. It is the Virtual Boy. So again, it's had a little bit of a resurgence lately, thanks to the Virtual Console stuff on the Switch 2. But man, the Virtual Boy when it was released was a disaster. I mean, the all red palette, the weird casing where you couldn't actually strap it to your head unless you were a sicko of some sort, where you had to like lean into it or lay it down and lay on your back and get into it. I mean,
Accept your migraine.
It's not really a handheld. It's an experience, if you will. Like, the Virtual Boy is something else, man. Like, it is. I will say it's got a little bit of a it's really cool that Nintendo has released some unreleased games for it with the latest round of Virtual Console stuff, like the F-Zero game. It's like G. Its original name was G-Zero, but it's like the F-Zero game. Shoot, I can't remember the name off the top of my head. It's like the Racer.
Zero Racers?
Zero Racers, yes. Yeah, the original name for it when it was in development was G-Zero, because it was supposed to be the follow-up to F-Zero. And so, like, there's a lot of characters, if you play it, that are actually, it's their first appearance in an F-Zero game. And the next, like, the official first appearance of them was either in F-Zero X or in the F-Zero GP Legend game on the Game Boy Advance. But, so it's kind of a weird little, like, it's kind of like Star Fox 2 almost.
Yeah.
Like, it's yeah. Anyway, the Virtual Boy, the all-red palette, the 3D effect was really cool, but like outside of a few games for it, like I think there were maybe 18 games, 20 games released for it altogether. Like nobody bought it, everybody got headaches from it. If you did buy it, you were a really strange sort of sicko. And like now that it's out on the Virtual Console, I'm like this close to plunking down $100 and being one of those sickos. It's like, yeah, sure, I could play some Virtual Boy games. That sounds like a great idea.
I think that I will probably eventually do that. Virtual Boy, I just can't. The red and all that just gave me headache immediately when I tried it way back when. I'm sensitive to headaches anyway, but that is just something else entirely. The only person I ever know that actually owned one was Weezer Jedi, and he displayed it proudly in the front of his apartment so everyone would see it immediately upon entrance. But it is cool. I mean, some of the games are decent, and it would be really nice if you could play them not red. I would like gray, even pea soup green a la Game Boy would be fine. But the red is just killing your retinas. Couple more show write-ins here since they're coming fast. And from some new folks, want to make sure we get them on. So Fenris says, "Oh well, if the fandom counts, then so does the retro VGS Coleco Chameleon and the Intellivision Amico." Oh, the Amico. That's a whole rabbit hole. That'd be a whole show.
The Amico technically has never been released, so I don't know if we can call it a failed console.
That is going to be the greatest console ever, Jack. You know, Tommy Tallarico promised with his fancy shoes.
Yes.
I'll never forget the shoes he would wear at Video Games Live. They're the brightest red you could ever have. Anyway, go watch a video about him. Not now, though. Fender says, those were disasters of consoles. Edo-kun, welcome, says, having Phantom merch is some major clout points. And J-Rod Z8QK says, recipe for future NEC issues. Yes. Fenris has a soft spot for the Virtual Boy. You might have a soft spot in your neck.
There were two ways to play the Virtual Boy. Either stretching your neck into it like this, or laying down on your back and just setting the console on your head. And neither of those was comfortable for any longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah. For sure. Well, all right. Jess, did you want to ask us a question?
So I actually am going to get back to questions in a minute. I did remember one little factoid that I wanted to throw out.
Nice.
Because I had completely forgotten about that, and then it just popped in my head. You guys remember when Soulja Boy was selling video game consoles that were just kind of
yes.
Oh, I remember that now. Existing retro handhelds.
Yeah, he loved Braid, and then he was
a little more specific on that one.
No, I remember it. He loved Braid, and then he was releasing a console.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God,
So that's my major contribution to this episode. It's
what was
just
it
a
called?
reminder to everyone that Soulja Boy.
Do you remember what it's called?
I'm looking, and it looks like he has done multiple. He's
Jack,
done more
don't
than
hurt
one.
yourself.
No, I'm just. As soon as Jess said, yeah, it looks like he's done multiple of these. It's yeah.
All top tier.
One of them is called Soulja Game Flip.
How many
Soulja
of them,
Game X.
How many of them do not have Soulja in the name?
Oh man.
Oh, they have to. You know,
this is bringing back memories.
Everything does.
This is bringing back memories.
And they're essentially just rebranded already existing retro emulators that he just kind of took and slapped his name on, and everyone's I don't really know if this is even legal.
I found a list: Soulja Game Console, Soulja Game Handheld, Soulja Retro Soulja Boy Mini, and Soulja Game Fuse.
Hey, you can say what you want about Soulja Boy and all the retro game consoles that he released, but at least none of them went to any kind of genocide. So they're light years ahead of the M64.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's hard for me to give him any credit. Also, he had a Twitter meltdown. That's what I remember.
Yeah.
He responded
yes,
crazy, insisting nothing was going to happen to it, and then he deleted his tweets, and then, and he had an interview with Rolling Stone about how he's thinking outside the box. Give him a shot. Mm-hmm. Man, I completely forgot about this. This was, and he did it. He came Soulja Game Flip. It was marked up from its original price of $209 to $436.50 because it was just a Retroid Pocket Flip 2. Man, Soulja Boy. That's not cool. Well,
yeah. So I felt like, and I don't even know what made me think of that. But something in what Jack was saying just triggered like a memory.
well, Edo-kun.
And I was like, I have to mention that one.
Edo-kun remembered because he said the Soulja Boy console is a great pull. Completely forgot about that. And Nintendo apparently sued him, according to Fenris.
I wouldn't.
They did. I remember that.
Yeah.
They like to sue.
I would
All
say
right.
in this case warranted.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
gonna let
so.
them have that one.
I think so. So my next pick here on our list is a taco, and I think if you know about tacos, then you're gonna know which one this is. Jack, do you know which one's a taco? You've held it in your hands.
Can you side talk with it?
You can side talk with
Is
it.
this all about side talking?
Yes, it is. Another one we saw at E3. So Nokia's 2003 system, the N-Gage, was basically trying to put something akin to a Game Boy Advance into a phone, and it looked like a taco. And the thing that was like really awesome about it, besides the fact that you had to hold it sideways to make calls, was that you had to swap the battery to change games. So if you wanted to change the games, you had to swap, pop the battery cover off, and it was like a whole thing. It like was not super easy. Some of the games were actually not completely horrific. Like I remember playing the Tomb Raider game, and it like played fine. But like also, why?
I mean, the entire platform was doomed from the get-go because they went, TikTok style. They went vertical versus horizontal, and like as anybody with two eyes can tell you, horizontal screens are better than vertical screens. So, yeah,
that thing, and they redesigned it too. I remember because like the next T3, it was fancier, also awful.
Yep.
I would rather have Choco Tacos back.
We will always have the summer of 2003 and 2004 when everybody was side talking.
Yeah, like 3 people.
and like you had Tomb Raider, you had Tony Hawk, and you had Pandemonium, and that was it.
An interesting combination of options.
Great success.
Nokia threw some money behind it. I mean, I'll give them that.
And they were like one of the main, if not the main, phone manufacturers at the time too.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense. But, Jack, what's your next pick?
Man, so, it's really tough to talk about failed consoles. I'm going to go with the Atari 7800 next. The Atari 7800 has a really interesting history. So, obviously, the video game crash happened in 1983-ish. The Atari 2600, for all intents and purposes, was the cause of it, or at least Atari was. The Atari 2600, the VCS, was the main console at the time when it occurred. Atari had developed the Atari 5200, which was already out, but they were also developing the Atari 7800 at the time. And the 7800 was supposed to be more powerful than the 2600, obviously. It was using like a custom Texas Instruments chip. It was definitely more powerful than anything that was out at the time. But because the video game crash happened, the console was slated to be released in 1983, but Atari shelved it. Well, Atari shelved it, kept shelving it. Nintendo released the NES in 1985 in North America. It was a huge hit, and Atari all of a sudden said, "Oh my God, we got to get in on this! Like, there's nothing we can do. Like, we've got to get this thing out. What do we have? Oh my God, let's release the 7800." And due to rights and due to a bunch of other things and some redesigns that they were trying to do, They didn't actually release it until 1987. So they released the system with 1983 era parts in 1987. And you can imagine how that went over. You had a bunch of arcade ports like Pole Position, Joust, Donkey Kong Jr., Miss Pac-Man that were all, I won't say arcade perfect, but very arcade accurate. But when you got beyond that and you looked at the Nintendo, which was on the market, like there was no comparison. You look at Double Dragon across both consoles and you're like, what the hell am I looking at? Like this is trash. Like even compared to the Sega Master System, which is also out at the same time, it was god awful. And yeah, the sound chip
was what really gets me is the sound.
Barely better than the Atari 2600. Like almost the same. Like,
it's one of the things.
It's a disaster.
It's one of the things when I teach my video game class is like when I show them the 2600, they're always really shocked with the sound. I mean, they're shocked with the graphics, but the sound really gets them because it's like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm astounded. Atari didn't just take the hit and just say, okay, well, we can't release this thing when it came to 1987.
It's really too bad because I think if they released it earlier, it might have actually done decently because the name was so strong. They also, like, Nintendo went to Atari and was going to have them release the NES too. Like they had a lot of chances back in the day to do something, but it's an interesting one to look back on. Because I think of these, it had like if it had been released earlier, it probably would have had a much better chance of success. But just really bad decision making. Terrible decision making. Gonna hit up the chat again. We got a lot of chat messages, which is great. Keep them up, y'all. Love the chat. And just go ahead and leave a comment below. Oh man, Sketchy has an N-Gage emoji that looks amazing, which I cannot say, but it looks great. Fenrir says the 7800 mainly failed because Atari killed it off along with the 2600 Junior, so it wouldn't impede with the sales of the Jaguar. It's true, but also like Nintendo had Zelda and like a bunch of games that were like really blowing up everything.
The 7800 had Ninja Golf and Blaze Ball.
Ninja Golf. Yes. All right.
The less said, the better.
Yeah. I was really curious about it for a long time until I saw the games and heard the games.
Yeah, I mean, like you. So I had an Atari. I had an Atari 2600 at the time. I did not have a Nintendo when it was originally released. And so when I would see, when I had Atari magazines that would actually show some of the screenshots of games on the 7800, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting. That looks kind of cool. Granted, 8-year-old, 7-year-old me, 5-year-old me really didn't have the context for a lot of the stuff that was in there, but like it at least made a halfway decent impression. And like I was like, man, this game looks like it could be kind of interesting. I'm glad I never actually got to play them, but
that's what emulators are for. Like
100%.
Like I love to play games on original hardware. That way, Atari, like for its time, like obviously the 2600 was amazing, but there was kind of a jank to those games where they just didn't have like I mean, it was early, obviously, right? But the 7800 also has a little bit of that jank where it just doesn't have the polish of Nintendo had kind of at the time. Or Sega.
You think about the controllers they had for the 7800. Like the controllers were garbage.
Yeah,
garbage.
Really bad. Yeah, we can take for granted the other ones, the other controllers. Can't say controller. Jess, you're up to bat.
All right, so as I mentioned earlier before you got here, Jack, I don't have a lot of experience playing any of these, so I'm more going to be asking questions.
Which is great.
my question is, if you could only play one console for the rest of your life and it had to be one of these, which one are you picking?
Oh my god. Well, Jack put the TurboGrafx on it. So definitely a TurboGrafx, because I actually love that console. Like, no question. That's, for me, that's like, I would play. I love the TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
PC Engine, of course, you know, has more games, and same thing over in Japan, and that probably doesn't count for this. But the TurboGrafx has amazing games. Like, I could play Soldier Blade all day, every day, and a lot of those games. So I would, like, that's a great question. I would go with that. Super easy.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. Like, TurboGrafx 16, despite how it didn't do well here in North America, like, it has the best lineup. Like, Bonk, Zonk, Air Zonk, I mean, Bloody Wolf, like, everything on that console for the most part is at least halfway decent. There's some sneakers, sure, but like, it has a decent library. For whatever reason, it just got caught in a weird cycle here in the U.S.
There's a whole man. There's actually an interesting history for that. Chad Conselmo, who we had on the show like years ago, he did a podcast, Retro Force Go, back in the day, and he had an old Hudson. Or NEC, the American side of Turbo, what was it called? Turbo Industries or whatever. The American side of it. There's a whole interesting history beside that, where they were like really fighting to get PC Engine games over here, and it was really like the Japanese side would not give them the best games, and not because they didn't want, like, but they didn't really want to invest the money over here because they didn't think it was, you know, they're very tiptoeing towards things, and had they not done that, like, it's a very, very clear case, I think, of having a really awesome system that had the you know, business side of things been run a little bit better, and maybe listening to those folks at Turbo Industries in terms of like, yeah, Americans will play these games. I mean, look at the JRPG explosion that happened a little bit, and you know, the Thunder Force games and the Genesis, and you know, all of that, like so it really bums me out. Like, that's that of that. Also, like, the Phantom, I joke because I like the lap desk, but that's the one that makes it is, but this is the one that makes me sad, because the TurboGrafx had so much potential, it just like makes me sad every time I turn it on. I'm like, why?
I will be honest with you, like, I know it's not the TurboGrafx 16 sound chip, but it's a similar vein. The Mina the Hollower, which I've been playing, has the MSX2, the Konami sound chip, which is more or less what was in the TurboGrafx 16. That thing's amazing. Like the
sounds so good.
Synthesizers stuff it gets out of it. Like,
I'm sure you played Devil's Crush.
Give me that. Oh yeah, Devil's Crush.
The sound, the game, the music in that.
Die Hard on the Japanese version is amazing.
Yep.
Bloody Wolf sounds fantastic.
I play them in my car. I do. Like, legit. They sound great. I love that little soundtrack. And we'll probably talk a little bit more about the Turbo. I think it deserves when Jack gets to his main featured one, just because it's such a main one. The chat again's coming hard and fast, which is great. Keep them coming. Finner says, give me that SuperGrafx. You take those 5 games, man. The TG16 did decently, but it got effed over due to, exactly. Yeah, it was a thing. It was the perfect to market as a budget console everywhere, and they did not. They were just like, hey, here's a CD add-on for $1 million.
I think we figured out how to get our audience riled up. Talk about TurboGrafx.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat going on. I'm trying to hit as much as I can. But yeah. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that more soon. All right, the next one I'm going to go into, again, this has a great story. Back with the Phantom, by the way, really quick, the one thing I forgot to mention is there was a news story that came out where the Infinium Labs address went to like a high school.
Oh,
Do you,
yeah.
do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that. We talked about it on the show, but there was like so many really weird things. And also at E3, and I have a picture of it, they had an Indy car. Like they had money thrown around. They had an Indy car at their booth at E3. We have a picture of it, and Richie even wrote a thing like, "Wow, it looks like they have some money." Yep. Go through. It's right now. It's on our website on the E3 04. I think it's part 2. There's like 3 parts to it. I think it's part 2. So
that is lost to my memory.
Yeah, crazy.
I blocked it out with Simpsons quotes or something else.
Crazy. Okay. So I'm gonna hit up my next pick here, and this is one again I actually played. I still remember at E3 they had this like amazing tent, and you walked under, and a nice person would come up to you and tell you about the Gizmondo. And all the specs on it were like pretty crazy. It had like GPS and a camera, and way ahead of its time. Like this is like when your cell phone you could like barely text, and you could like sending a picture text. I mean, you might as well be sending it to the moon, It just was like it was the dark ages. And here this thing comes out from Tiger Telematics, so I think it was E3 2005, I remember right. And it was supposed to do all these amazing things, and that the system never actually like panned out, and the games that were released for it, the games that did it, I mean, only 25,000 units sold, so basically nothing, and there were very few games sold for it. And it basically, this is the most interesting thing about it though, is that it had a connection to the Swedish mafia. So it was backed by Swedish mafia money. Okay, like, and being a Swede, like, hey, connection there. I'm not in the mafia, I promise. Or am I? But the CEO, it was this big story. He crashed a Ferrari Enzo, and there's like, not many of those, right?
I remember that.
He crashed it in Malibu while like super intoxicated, and that was around like the downfall.
Of this. It's like, how much money are these guys burning through each month?
Yeah, and like definitely, I think probably like money laundering and all sorts of interesting.
For sure.
That was a fun one to talk about. The Gizmondo is wild, funded by the Swedish mafia as part of a money laundering scheme, and a CEO who wasted money on Lambos and drugs. You know what?
That's accurate.
You know what I'll say though? Their booth was pleasant. It had nice, calm lighting, and you could really see the screen of the thing that, it was a white.
In Kensha Hall?
No, it was in the main hall. Yeah.
It was?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't even remember it.
Yeah, I remember everything, which is good and bad. But yeah, that particular, not everything, but I remember a lot of things that I probably shouldn't. But that particular, I can very clearly remember playing the Gizmondo and like being impressed with the tech specs. I mean, if you don't, which they didn't really have software to show, right? So if you just think about on a tech spec, situation, and that was the thing, like everyone was always saying that like Nintendo's handhelds were going to be killed. It's like, the Gizmondo is going to kill the handheld. None of us said that, but there were people at the show that were like, oh, it's so powerful. How is Nintendo going to compete? And all the third parties hate them. And then the PSP. Oh my God, the PSP. How's Nintendo going to handle that? Oh my God, the Vita. How Nintendo's going to handle that? Well, they're going to like destroy it is how they're going to handle it. They're going to like sell way more of theirs.
2 screens.
Yeah. 2 screens, 3D, gimmick. But anyway, I love the PSP and the Vita, by the way.
From Office Space, 2 screens at the same time. Sorry.
Oh, Jack. This is the real jaunty Jack Burton that has arrived this evening. All right, so crashing Ferraris. Now, Jack, go ahead and get us back into the main TurboGrafx 16.
Sure. So the TurboGrafx 16. So obviously, anybody with a half brain realizes this console has not really failed. But here in the States, it's failed. Like, I don't know what its final... And somebody can look this up, I'm sure. I don't know what its final market share was here in the States, but it was not great. The Super Nintendo wasn't already out, but it was close to coming out. Genesis was already out. It was just released at a weird time here in the States, and there was enough of a delay from when it was released in Japan to when it was released here. Again, marketing was a problem. Again, games were a problem. Until Bonk came out, they didn't even really have a mascot for that
Make you
thing.
pull over.
Yeah, I will just say that the TurboGrafx 16, if it had done what it did in Japan here, I think you have a legit 3-console system, like a 3-console ecosystem that works well. The TurboGrafx 16, while not great, would have competed with a Sega CD because it was going for completely different kind of games. Yeah, sure, it had some of the Hollywood schlock that the Sega CD did, but you also had amazing games like Rondo of Blood. You had things like Valis 2, actual real video games that used the CD in the way it was meant to be used. I can hear you laughing over there, but like the TurboGrafx 16
I wasn't laughing. I literally wasn't laughing. I sneezed.
It was a great system that had terrible marketing. I will just share this one anecdote with you from my youth. When I was like 8 years old, we'd always go to the mall. And every time we'd go to the mall, there would be like the one like real like high-end hi-fi stereo / audio visual not company, but the retail store. So they would have like the rear projection TVs and stuff, and like on their main front display, they would always have a TurboGrafx 16 on there, like for like 4 years, like between 1989 and 1993. They would either have Bonk 2 or Bonk 3 on that thing. And I was like,
was this the Wichita?
This system looks so good. No, this is in St. Louis.
Okay. Continue.
Like every time I would go by that store, I was like, man, this thing looks awesome. I really want to play this system because it looks amazing. And you could play it for a few minutes, and then they'd say, yeah, no, this is what it is. And here this TV is awesome. It costs like $3,000, which at the time was a lot more money than $3,000 is today. But still, it was one of those things where it was just like the idea of having a TurboGrafx 16 was, I won't say foreign, but it was an ideal. It was in my mind, it was up there with the Neo Geo because Neo Geo looked amazing. TurboGrafx 16 looked amazing.
Oh, it looks so
and
good.
It was something about the way that the games looked and sounded that even next to the Sega Genesis, I was like, this is some sort of quality that is different, but unique and different from what Sega's trying to go for. And
for sure.
Like Sega always felt, next to the TurboGrafx, the Sega Genesis always felt like I won't say muddy, but it did feel like grungy next to the TurboGrafx 16 and its sound chip and its graphics.
Yeah. No, I love, and I'm gonna hit up the chat because Johnny Graphics has joined. What good timing when we're talking about the TurboGrafx. So in terms of market share, I did the research that you asked for. So they sold a little bit less than 1 million in North America. Their initial shipment was 750,000, and they apparently shifted eventually. I think shipped more, but it was like basically flooding the market with something that never ended up selling. GamePro ranked it as the 9th worst selling game console of all time in North America, and the CD add-on cost $400 in early 90s, which is basically like $1 billion today. Probably more like 1,000 or 800. But the Genesis, by comparison, depending on who you look at, there's like a lot of debate on these numbers. So there was a 2004 study that actually had the Genesis ahead of the SNES overall. And then Wedbush Securities had another report that had the SNES ahead by 1.5 million. So the Genesis was definitely ahead in 91 and 92, but then after that, it kind of gets muddy on exactly what happened. Kind of the official market share report will say the SNES at 42%, and then the Genesis at 33.4%, the PC Engine at 8.6%, and then and so on and so forth. So pretty cool. But you get some great games. We mentioned some of them. Bonk's Revenge, Military Madness, JJ and Jeff, Galaga 90, Bomberman 93, Blazing Laser, Splatterhouse, Newtopia 1 and 2, Ninja Spirit, Air Zonk, East, Book 1 and 2, which are fabulous, especially for the time. Dungeon Explorer. I mean, you know, all the IREM games are for like R-Type. All the IREM games. Ninja Spirit. Oh, I did a podcast with Johnny
Warriors,
Graphics.
a really good port of Ninja Warriors.
Yes.
Sorry.
So no. It's great. It's really good. So I'm gonna hit up the chat here for a moment. Oh, that was Jack that said that. But Johnny Graphics, the Atari Lynx is gonna destroy the Switch 2. You wait and see. The bundle game for TurboGrafx 16 was not a good showcase at all. That should have been bundled. Legendary Axe. I agree. Very good. Very good. All right, Jess, what's your next question?
Sorry, there is a huge bug just scurrying across my floor. Okay, that's fine. Refocus. So my next question is, were there any games or maybe even just like features of any of these consoles that you wish had been given life on a different system?
Jack, you're going to have to hit this one up because I have to take a bathroom break.
Ooh. No, you're fine. Any other games that had features? Man, I won't say any of the systems we've talked about so far. I can't think of anything that would have like features that I want on any other platforms. I guess what I will default to say is that I wish the Nintendo Entertainment System had the TurboGrafx 16 sound chip. Like the TurboGrafx 16 sound chip is, as far as I'm concerned, like the end all be all. Like it is amazing. It has some really good synth sound. It's better than an FM Towns. The Sega Genesis, for what it's worth, is real gritty and like it has some real crunchy, good bass. But there's something about the like if you listen to things like JJ and Jeff or Kato and Kenchan, like those games, like there's something about the crispness of the audio that is so good, and I really wish that other games had that sound chip, had that quality of sound that you just don't see anywhere else. Like honestly, of all the other consoles we've talked about, like the 3D graphics of the Virtual Boy, which we got with a 3DS eventually, that's really the only thing I can think of. Is just I really like the sound chip of the TurboGrafx.
Nice. Awesome. Very cool. I'm going to go through the chat here since I had to run there for a second. Too much coffee. Sorry, y'all. Coming back through here. So PSP and PS Vita cannot defeat Pokemon from Fenris. Have to agree. Pokemon's the bomb now. Johnny Graphics says the Atari Lynx is going to destroy the Switch 2. Just you wait and see. The Lynx was cool. I actually had a friend that had the Lynx, and I was it has some cool games. I think I watched your video on it, Johnny, actually.
Of all of Atari's consoles or handhelds post Atari 2600, I'd say the Lynx is probably the most successful and should have done better than it did.
Yeah, for sure. Keep going through here. Love the TurboGrafx CD shmup games. Crystal Madison, yes, absolutely. Me too, for sure. And then coming back down. Agreed, Jack. The sound chip is perfect. Sketches of Ceviche, dude. The PC Engine had the RGB interface just right there. It only means something 40 years later, but still. And the TG16 CPU is basically an upgraded version of the NES CPU. One thing that I'll say about the Turbo, and I think we need to do a whole episode on it because it's so amazing. That system was basically kind of a souped up NES in a lot of ways because the CPU was pretty similar and the games felt like kind of better looking NES games. Now I love the NES sound chip. I'm partial to it, but like technically the PC Engine sound chip was definitely better. For sure. I just wanted to hit up since we have a lot of new folks viewing. If you like what you're seeing, please give us a like and subscribe. We do broadcast every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central since 2002 with a 10-year break in there. And then on Tuesdays, Jess and I play Pokemon. I had never played Pokemon before. Apparently someone's broken into Jack's room. I had never played Pokemon before, and Jess is guiding me through Crystal, and it's amazing. Like, I'm having so much fun. And also it looks like we're gonna hit potentially our live viewership record. So tell your friends because we might have more live viewers this particular show than ever. And my studio version shows a completely different number than the one I'm monitoring with. So I don't think it's showing you guys out there, but I did take a screenshot for the folks here. Jess, what was your question? I had to go to the bathroom so bad I didn't hear it.
Are there any games or like features of any of these consoles that you wish had gotten a chance on a different system?
Yes, like every TurboGrafx game. I should veer away from that since we've talked about it so much.
I say that was basically my answer.
Okay, so then I can't say this. So something of our list that let me look at the list again. That I wish would get a chance somewhere else. You know what? I'm gonna say probably of the failed ones. Probably the Super. That's kind of cheating because it's like the same thing. I'm gonna say the Atari Jaguar because the Atari Jaguar had like 2 or 3 games that were pretty decent.
Such as
Tempest came out on the Saturn.
Okay, yeah, Tempest 2000 is really good.
But it was ported. Oh man, that's tough because there are not many very good ones. That's a really hard question. But yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Or I'm sorry.
No, it's a good question. I like to think, so that's good. But no, I'm gonna have to go with that, just because. Yeah, just because I think on this list, I mean, I don't know if we consider, or the Amiga CD32 had some pretty cool.
That's a crazy one.
Had some pretty cool games. I actually got to play one once.
Really?
Yeah. That had some pretty cool games.
An actual console or emulated?
Yeah, my art teacher in elementary school had loved the Amiga, all the Amiga stuff.
Oh, wow.
So he had lots of really cool Amiga stuff. So that was a pretty cool one. Launched right before Commodore went bankrupt. So, yeah. So, Fenrir says Tempest 2000, Doom, Alien versus Predator is probably the one I was going to mention.
That's a good one.
Mutant Penguins, which Mutant Penguins, and Zool too. Of those, Tempest 2000 is my favorite, but it got ported to the Saturn, so it did get a life. So that was a great question.
Yes, and it did get released with the Jeff Minter collection here recently too.
Cool.
The Gold Master series.
Nice.
Atari, yeah.
Nice. Okay, going on for my thing. So this one, we talked about on the reboot of the show, last reboot of the show. Before this reboot of the show. But the 2013 Kickstarter Android console, Ouya, I think that's how you say it, it raised $8.5 million. and it promised an open platform that anyone could develop for, underpowered hardware, didn't have much of a library, and also had a rule that every single game must have a free demo, which scared off a lot of publishers. And I think Razer bought it a couple years later. But this, everyone was really I remember a lot of people in the forums talking about this, and we joked about it a lot. Like, Ouya's coming. Ouya's coming. But it was basically like an Android gaming machine. I mean, it was running, Android OS, and so it had potential. A lot of these had potential. It's so sad.
I mean, the Ouya...
Someone's dreams are going up in smoke.
The best thing that came out of the Ouya was Towerfall. And who remembers Towerfall at this point?
I remember it because you said it. So, no. Oh, I just remembered a failed one. Do you remember Google Stadia?
Oh my God! Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Phil Harrison in all his glory.
Yeah, I can't stand lag. So like, I knew I wasn't gonna be into that. I got one free somehow.
You did? How did that go?
I tried it. It was terrible. I mean, it's just not for me. Like, the idea of it, I get it. Like, you can play all these games streaming and whatever, but
yeah,
it's not something I would ever be interested in. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
So very cool. All right, Jack, what's your next one?
My next one is the Philips CDI. So I know this one gets a really bad rap, and deservedly so. Like a CD, it was in the midst of the multimedia craze. The CDI was kind of positioned as your multimedia platform of choice, where you could do video, you could do anything you wanted to, and it was the merging of Hollywood and video games. And you had things like BMW sending a CDI video / brochure to retailers. Or, I shouldn't say retailers, but I would say car salespeople, car dealerships with a CDI version of their hand guide, of their user guide. But you also had things like Zelda and the Wand of Gamelon and amazing games just like that, because for whatever reason Nintendo wanted to stick it to Sony and say, hey, we're going with this thing. The CDI is
worked out great.
Garbage. Yeah, the CDI is garbage. The console is overpriced. It is a terrible system. It controls poorly. Like, if you looked at it versus DVD players of the early 2000s, like, there's no comparison. The CDI was an abject failure in every sense of the word. It's an abomination that should never have existed. But we have it today.
I mean, probably the worst mistake that Nintendo ever made, because it launched their biggest competitor.
Yeah,
Like,
I would say so.
Without Sony, Nintendo, I don't know, it could be a very different world. Jess, go ahead and ask your next question.
Yeah, so I don't know if you're gonna have like a good answer for this, but I am curious if you think that, like, other than the TurboGrafx, we're gonna put that one aside, if you think any of these were like unfairly like hated on and failures, and then alternatively, if you think there are any ones that weren't considered failures that you feel like maybe should have been.
TurboGrafx. TurboGrafx definitely I don't think should have been a failure, but we've talked about that at length, so I'm going to try to pick some other ones here. Great question, by the way. So it's really hard because we picked some terrible ones. I mean, so I'm gonna go with the other one, and I've talked about it a lot, but the Xbox 360's hardware issues that caused like 50% of them to break. Well, definitely not a failed console. It was super successful and sold great, had some really amazing games. But that particular move, of knowing that they were, basically broken and then shipping them out and hoping for the best. They had so much momentum, and that Xbox 360 launch, I mean, oh my God, I remember I was there when they unveiled the thing, and they had like the Killers playing there who were, huge at the time. They had all these chefs making food for everybody. And there were some really amazing games for that system. But just that's such a terrible thing that happened. It was also really loud. I used to always joke that it was. I always used to joke that it was sounded like a hurricane when you're next to it. But again, it was. I can't say it's a failure. Again, I'm not going to go back to the well of the turbo. The Phantom, I know, like, we joked about it a lot, but like, if that could have somehow worked at the time, like if you could actually have a PC-like system that integrated into the home theater type setup that had a subscription and basically had Steam where you could buy and download games. Like, obviously they couldn't deliver on it. But if what their concept was actually came around and worked, that would have been absolutely fantastic. So that's another one that I would say, if it had actually worked, that would have been pretty awesome. We don't have no one has the 3DO on the list, but the 3DO, I mean, was so expensive when it came out, and there were a couple decent games for it, but that one makes me sad because I felt like there was a lot of unused potential there. Neo Geo is another one that we could maybe say is a failed console. I would have loved to have seen.
I would argue that the Neo Geo at least had some, like, it had penetration within the arcade space, which
that's true.
Meant it
not
was
in the home
not
space.
a failed console.
That's true. But I'm console, so I'm talking about the AES.
Okay, that's fair.
I was finicky and picky.
Way overpriced as a console.
Yeah. But I wanted one so bad.
Yeah.
But honestly, having the ability to play them on the Mister, very accurately, there's some really awesome games that I love, but I still like the SNES, the Genesis, and probably the PC Engine better. Not graphically, but like in terms of like games I would prefer to play. Like, I'd rather play Chrono Trigger than any game on the Neo Geo.
Man, give me Neo Turf Masters, and it's hard to argue with that.
You're gonna play golf over Chrono Trigger?
Yes. I will play Neo Turf Masters over Chrono Trigger.
That makes me sad.
It's such a good game. It's such a good golf game.
It is a really good game. And we're getting close to being out of time here. And looks like we did beat our live record, which I think was 75 for the JRPG one. We hit 78 just now. So thank you everybody for the live views. Appreciate that very much. Again, like and subscribe, please. That helps us like so much, and it's free. I'm gonna go ahead and hit up the chat here before we head off into the sunset, because we've got a lot of folks talking. So Fenris said CDI was never meant to be a game console. It was supposed to be a multimedia interface, and the game console aspect was shoehorned in. Yes. And Nintendo, again, I don't, yeah. And then Fenris said that I think the PS2 shouldn't have done as well as it did. It was BS because it was so also a cheap I mean, the DVD player was definitely a big part of it, because it was actually a really high quality DVD player for a low price. I will argue though as well, Sony had so much momentum from the PS1. I mean, they absolutely dominated the PS1 generation in terms of sales. And I think that momentum, like when the PlayStation became the hot, trendy, cool name. And PlayStation 2 was something that everyone was talking about. They had all those tech demos with the ducks, you know, and everyone was talking about how it was going to be Jurassic Park quality graphics in real time and all this stuff. So there was so much behind the PS2. So the DVD player is definitely like what made it the best selling console of all time. But I still think it had a decent chance of winning that generation by maybe a smaller margin without it, just because Sony, and that was also when Sony like really knew what they're doing marketing wise. I mean, because basically when used really well, it could do some amazing things, but it was so hard to program for. I watched this interview with the developers that said like it took like a year to get anything on the screen. It was such a hard system to develop for. So that's what I would say with that. All right, more stuff here. The Neo Geo Pocket Color, that's a great one. Probably not gonna get it to tonight. Johnny Graphic says, yeah, the 3DO has a handful of legit games, some of which are still exclusive. I like it. I would love to have a 3DO, don't get me wrong. Like, I almost had one. I should have been more. For very cheap.
There's like two games on there that I really wish I had. It's like System Shockwave, I think.
Yeah.
Like the System Shockwave and its sequel were interesting.
Yeah. And the Street Fighter port is actually really good too.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is a really good version of that. I had a copy of it at one point, and I sold it on eBay for quite a bit of money.
Yeah, Star Control 2 would be my first pickup. And the Wing Commander 3 version of it is supposedly one of the better, if not the best version. A lot of people really like Road Rash. I've never been a Road Rash fan, any of the versions, but if you like Road Rash, which a lot of people do, I'm an outlier there. That's
the 3D version's really good.
Really good version. And I think it eventually was bested, though, on the PlayStation and Saturn. Doom was fine. It wasn't a great version. There was also Crash and Burn. I remember Crash and Burn. I played it on PC, I think, if I probably remember right. Yeah, that one was interesting. All right, guys.
Don't forget Tattoo Assassins.
Can't forget that one. Yeah, but that thing was so expensive. But I do like they had really great advertising. It was like, put your Super Nintendo in the trash because 3DO is coming. So, oh man, we need one more for 80. All right, Jack, what are you gonna be doing this week?
Oh man, gonna be playing some more Godzilla Pinball this week. I'm here in an undisclosed location. Excuse me. Undisclosed location here for the next few days. So luckily there is a good retro arcade near me. So Godzilla Pinball will be playing. Uh-oh. Did I get cut off?
Nope. Yeah, we're playing you out, Jack.
Oh man. I'm gonna be doing that. Also, it's soccer season around these parts, so getting back into that as school gets back into session. So back into it,
nice,
and hopefully finishing off, or at least getting further into 007 First Light.
And we crossed it. We crossed 81. So keep them coming. Let's see how much we can get in the next couple minutes. Jess, what are you gonna do this week?
I'm hoping to be able to sit down and play some of the old Harvest Moon games because I'm working on a video about that. So I'm very excited. Most of them I won't have really like dove in and played like since around when they came out. So that'll be super fun.
Yeah.
And then just chilling. I finally mostly caught up on the X-Men 97 season 2. And I know the new episode comes out today, and so I'm excited to watch that.
It was a good one.
Such a good show.
Oh, it's
such a good show. But yeah, I think that's the majority of my plans.
Awesome. Yeah, very, very cool. I'm I've gotten super back into. I got Marvel Unlimited, and have no time, but I try to read like one comic before bed, which is really fun because I hadn't really read comics in a long time. So that's really fun. X-Men 90. So you're gonna love today's episode, Jess. I won't spoil any. I'm not gonna say anything about the story, but it was. And just in general, I absolutely adore that show. So an exciting week. I look forward to Jess's fantastic video and everything else we got cooking here. So I will see you same time next week on the game show.